Don't need that anymore. Hey guys. So, yeah, I thought the easiest way to do this, reinventing myself with y'all along, would be to start a little vlog and talk about what's going on with me, what I'm wanting to accomplish, probably a lot about disability and mental health, but also like fashion and makeup and cooking and politics. You know, what's on my mind, basically. So hi, welcome, I'm glad you're here. I was gonna do, a full YouTube style get ready with me. I put all my makeup in a bin and all my skincare, and I came downstairs. And I don't have a tripod. I don't have a filming setup yet. So we're just doing this way. And, we'll see how it goes. It's a beautiful evening out here. It's Sunday. I figured Sunday's a good day to tape these, do a weekly assessment, see where I am, see what my goals are, see what I've accomplished. Just a weekly check-in. This is one of the first times I've been outside on the patio this year, probably a handful of times I've been out here. And the camellias are almost done blooming. And my grandmother's lilac is blooming. Makes me choke up a little bit. Just a little bit. So there's 4 lilacs over there. And I'm really thinking maybe it's something to put on my list this week. I want to figure out how to make sugared lilac flowers, candied lilacs. I know it's something you can do. Can't be that hard. So maybe I'll try that. So this last week, has been a difficult one. I'm still really struggling with the waking up and just feeling like I need to weep. So I lie in bed after I wake up and tears run out of my eyes. It's probably 5 out of 7 days. It's getting old. Maybe if I put something in my days to look forward to, that'll make things a little better. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been working with Vocational Rehab for about 1.5 years now. And I went in because I had this wheelchair, and they were the only people I could see that could help me get a vehicle to transport my wheelchair in. And so the pandemic sort of interrupted all of that. And then my depression hit kind of an all-time low this winter. So finally, for Voc Rehab, the goal is to get an employment plan, and that's supposed to take, 3 months, and it took 18, which is fine. But getting that done, my vocational rehab counselor recommended this month-long program with a couple of occupational therapists to help me figure out what I needed to get ready to go back into the workplace. And I wasn't really thrilled about this because I've had way too much experience with people offering me help and then basically telling me that I'm all functional and great and why would I need any help? Anyhow, so we went through the program, and this last week they finished, the whole process ends with a portfolio. And this next week there's a portfolio review with the two OTs, my vocational rehab counselor, and any people from my circle of support that I invited. So I've invited several people. My son, my husband, my good friends who have known me for a long time. And I'm really pleased with so I've invited those friends. That'll be next Wednesday. My voc rehab counselor will also be there. And we'll try to figure out ways to work towards those goals. And those goals are really great. The goals are finding a way to get somebody to help me get my house in order. So even if I'm working from home, I need to have an oriented space where I can work from home. And if I'm going out, I need to have my life organized enough that I can do that. So they identified that as a really important thing, and that was good to hear because I think it's been something I'm saying is something I really need. They also identified a vehicle or transportation for me somehow with my wheelchair is really important. It's important for me to get out. And the last thing they identified was a work hardening program that I'm sort of excited about, that I don't know a lot about, but if it's something I do, I can tell you guys more about it. The goals I really identified are just working on my personal routine, getting dressed every day, engaging with people. And so this is part of that. One of the things they really encouraged us to do is to get in touch with our circle of support, and be in touch with them. And so many of you guys, bless you, reached out and said that's something you wanted to do. And I couldn't think of something in my eye. Hold on. This was the best way I could think of to have that conversation with all of you. So I really want your feedback, please. I want to hear what you want to see. Please keep the feedback kind. I mean, I assume all you guys know that. So next week is sort of a big week. Tomorrow I have my treatment. For those of you who don't know, in November, I started esketamine treatments. Esketamine is the generic name, the brand name is Bravado. And they started as twice weekly, but now they're once weekly treatments. And I think it's made a huge difference. I think actually that's part of the reason I'm weeping, that the walls are softening and all of that's been sort of stuck in me is starting to come out. I have to say it's very unpleasant, and it's one of my big concerns about hallucinogenic treatments, that we still expect it to be a miracle cure, I think. People want a miracle cure. And the reality is, recovering from PTSD and major depression is hard work. And being disabled makes it harder. So, one of the things that we did as a part of the Thrive program, that program that put together the portfolio, is they did an executive function assessment. And basically, executive function is a bunch of different skills, 12 different skills. I'll look them up and I'll post them over here. And of course, there's 12 different skills involved there, and you can't, no, not everybody's strong in all of them, right? Like life. And so what they've done is they looked at what our strongest executive functions were and what our weakest were. And my strongest are metacognition and flexibility and time management, actually, and one other I can't remember. I'll put it up here. It's related to flexibility and metacognition, and it makes sense. And then the 4 that I'm lowest in are task persistence. I'll put the others up. And I thought about it, and they talked about how everybody's strong in some and weak in others, and I went, yeah. And what CEOs do is they hire secretaries. They hire secretaries to fill in their weak spots. And then nobody complains about their weak spots. I've thought about this a lot in relation to ADD, and I think it's women are penalized for not having all of those executive functions, and men are penalized less. Anyhow, having somebody help me with those makes a big difference. And so I'm looking forward to what the possible. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the future. The 5-year plan. The 5-year plan is still. The 5-year plan, I think, is still to finish my degree. But I'm also trying to figure out what I actually want to do with my life. The kids are grown, but I'm struggling with, mom of 25 years doesn't play on a resume. So I kind of figure like it feels like I've sacrificed 25 years of my life only to be relegated to an entry-level position. With no regard for the skill that it takes. And I think I'm really struggling with the devaluing of mothers. That I don't qualify for disability because I haven't worked. But if I'd been raising somebody else's children and getting paid for it, I would qualify for disability. I think that's really, really an unfair thing to do to mothers, and I think I'm hoping that the pandemic has made it clear that being a mother is it's a full-time job. Being a parent is a full-time job. Being a father is a full-time job. Being an employee is a full-time job. And so when you've got two people doing 4 full-time jobs, that adds to the stress. And I look at the stress that Ed and I and our family have been under the last 25 years. And I don't know, I encourage you guys to do this. Look back and write down all your traumatic experiences over the last 25 years. I picked 9/11 as my first date, but I could have gone back, of course. For those of you who don't know, my PTSD originates from being kidnapped at 6, when I was 6. And maybe someday I'll tell that story if that's something you guys are interested in. So I went back and I wrote down every traumatic event, every time we had to move, every time there was a job loss, every time somebody was in the hospital, every time somebody died. Every time there was a huge disruption. I wrote down all the traumatic events I dealt with over the last 25 years, and I filled out an entire page, a full notebook paper page. And then I realized, then I graduated. I got my bachelor's by pounding my head against a wall. And I couldn't do my master's that way. And I think at the same time, menopause kicked in. And I think that's been another big issue. I did not quite connect what it would be like to lose all of my sex hormones. I hadn't realized how much those drugs affected everything. And so now this new experience of being neuter, of wondering what the world would look like if men lost all their testosterone when they hit 52. And again, our lack of care for mothers and postmenopausal women. And this really came to a head to me when I watched conversations about trans women and the way that the anti-trans folks want to define a woman basically rules me out. So, yeah, you have people making definitions of women that mean I'm not a woman, which is interesting. In the back of my head for almost a year has been this thought that I need to go back and read Betty Friedan. So maybe I'll do that this week and report back to you. I feel like I'm where she is when she wrote The Feminine Mystique. Maybe it'll be something I can understand more now. So, that's my week coming up. That's my Sunday update. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to hear more of. Thanks to all of you for being supportive. And we'll try this weekly update to all of you. Bye-bye.